So first, tell us all about your character.
I play this guy Tito, who's a taco salesman, and he comes up with all these different schemes and ways of advertising, marketing to sell more tacos, and he just wants like a taco empire, and he owns this taco truck with his brother, and he's a bit of a dreamer, and he comes across this one snail who's a dreamer as well, and the snail goes like 200 miles an hour, so he thinks, why not get him to the Indy 500, or the fastest and the biggest spectacle on Earth. So he gets him to the Indy 500, and then from then on, he has to raise a lot of money to get him there, and then you're gonna have to watch the movie, I guess, to see how it all pans out.
Good. What can viewers of all ages take away from the film? Is it families? What do you think the messages that people are gonna take away?
Well, the message is, it's an underdog story, at the very heart of it, and everyone that got anywhere in life, I think, started out as a bit of a dreamer, and me being an actor, I was like, one day, hopefully, I get to star in movies, and it's just a dream, so that dreams can come and become reality. But also, the movie's has a lot of humor and comedy, and in the third act especially, I think that there's a whole lot of cool action, because it actually does look like the Indy 500, because I went there, I was the honorary starter, and the attention to detail was really, really amazing.
What was your favorite part about being at the Indy 500, aside from being the starter?
Being the starter is pretty amazing, and plus I got to be in the tower, and you just really get to see how the cars are so fast. I'm like, I couldn't believe how quick they were. The first time when I was by the pits, they would rush by, and they were so quick that the first couple of cars, if your eyes didn't, I just wasn't ready for it. They were just like blurs, and then once they got acclimated, I was able to see the cars, but it's just so fast.
Yeah, you had to adjust to the
yeah,
sound
exactly.
and everything.
Calibrate, that's what I was looking for.
What characteristics did your animated character have, did Tito have, that attracted you to the part?
Well, actually, what attracted me to the entire story period is that my kid loves snails and roly-polies and little things here and there. And now he's getting into dogs, and which I think is really cool. And plus, he really likes animated movies, and just like any parent, you want to be a part of an animated movie, something that he watches. And he just loves these things. And I said, well, I'd rather just get involved in a really good one. And the good ones are they're special, because you have to actually, the writers have to go for two different audiences. It's not just one. One for the parents, and then jokes for the kids, and sometimes they mesh together and sometimes they don't. And I just wanted to be, I guess, a cool dad, you know what I mean? He's like, that's my dad. We'll see if he shows off or not.
Does he know who your character is? Have you shown him photos or the trailer?
Yeah, he just really cares about Turbo, so I guess I might have lost that battle right now. But, we'll see. Hopefully he...
When he hears your voice, maybe?
Yeah, but I think he's going to be so, involved into the movie that he's not really gonna notice it's me. Maybe he will at first, and then after that, it's like movie time, Dad.
Right. When Turbo finally gets his speed, he has music playing, he kind of revs up his engine when he's getting started for the race. If you were to have one song playing through that would get you pumped up for a race, what song would it be?
Oh, for me, it's, I actually did a little bit of sparring back in the day, and I think for me, it would be Rage Against the Machine song, something like that, something really heavy that gets you pumped up and fills you full of adrenaline.
Perfect. There's a lot of snails in the film. You are not one of the snails.
I'm not one of the snails.
But if you could decide to be any other type of creature, what would it be, and what would your special talent? What would you want?
I would want to be like a miniature snail. I know snails are small, but even a miniature snail, because I think it blends itself to a different kind of voice. Something like that. And I'd want to be like a little helper. You know what I mean? Maybe shining turbo shells. You're gonna win, man. You're gonna win. you know, something like that, and just like maybe not the brightest of the snails, you know, that some people make fun of, and then he has a comeback, but the comeback's not very good. I think that would be pretty cool to play.
Turbo 2.
Yeah, Turbo Dos.
So that leads into in Turbo Dos. Once Theo Turbo got his speed change, he wanted to change his name. So BET.com wants to know what names do you think these rappers would take on as their racing name? So if you can think of them, that's all good. T.I.
T.I. What would his racing name be?
Yeah.
Let me see. He was just in a movie, Identity Thief. I think he'd go like Knight Rider.
Good one. Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj. She would probably do something in pink. Let me see. Yeah, I think the Pink Bandit or something like that.
And Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne Chain Gang. Lil Wayne Chain Gang.
Perfect.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't.
That was good off the top of your head.
I did my best.
That's it.